Hey friends, we are back in the kitchen for another recipe video. In the process of creating a new recipe, I had an idea to use some of the ingredients that I have on hand to craft some green, salty, cheesy patties. Kind of like a cheeseburger vibe, but it's gonna be green because you can't get enough greens in. Greens are the best. They're amazing. Nutrient powerhouses, so amazing for our cells. So this recipe, we're keeping it really simple, really basic. It's my first time making it, so you'll see we'll kind of tweak it together depending on how things evolve. That's just how the process goes. So without further ado, I will just introduce the ingredients that we'll be using. I've got 2 cups of celery pulp here from my celery juice and 2 cups of power greens. I'll put those in first. It's quite a lot of power greens there. And this celery pulp is from my vertical omega juicer, so it's got some liquid in there, but it's fairly dry. And then we have about a cup of the sunflower seed cheese, the cultured sunflower seed cheese. And you know, I think what I'll do is I'll blend this down first and then add this, because I don't want to over blend the sunflower seed cheese. It has living probiotics in it that are sensitive to the metal blades in the blender. So we will blend this up first. So that blended up really nicely. Next, I'm gonna drop in, I've got about a tablespoon of dulse flakes and about a half a tablespoon of wakame flakes to introduce more of that salty element, the sea veggie taste. I think it's gonna pair really well with the other flavors, and yeah, just some natural sodium for these summer days, these hot days. And then the sunflower seed cheese actually has a little bit of lime juice in it, and it has some garlic in it, so I won't be adding additional garlic. But if you really like the taste of garlic, some extra garlic in here I'm sure would be wonderful. Onion would be really nice in this, I'm sure, as well as green onion. But frankly, friends, I don't want to smell bad, so I'm not gonna add it. I like how I smell when I don't eat very much garlic or onion. It can be aggravating to pitta, and one of the signs of pitta imbalance is actually having pretty bad body odor. And that is simply something I am not interested in, friends. That being said, garlic and onion can be pacifying to other doshas. And if you really enjoy the flavor, honestly, it does really, really excellent in dehydrated recipes. So we will give this a blend. A blend and then a scrape. So these I anticipate being fairly rich patties because a whole cup of the sunflower seed cheese went in. Knowing that some of that is water, some of that is lime juice, but still, these are gonna be really rich. I think what I will do now is actually add some, I would maybe add additional greens to this, but to make it a little bit lower fat, you could add additional celery pulp, but I added all of the celery pulp that I have. And there's nothing wrong with making a really rich burger. That just means maybe instead of having 2 or 3, it would be more appropriate to just have 1 patty. So keeping that in mind. I'm going to blend this just a little bit more. And these patties are going to be perfectly smooth. If you wanted some texture, you could add in a chopped element. You could add in some grated zucchini, some grated carrots, some grated beet, something like that, which would give it more of a different texture versus the smooth texture. Some people prefer a smoother burger or a smoother veggie patty. Some people prefer a more texture rich one. So you really just have to experiment with it and see what you like. So I will clear our space and we will form these into patties. All right, I've got my dehydrator tray here with the Teflex sheet. I find these do best for cleanup, really quick cleanup. Now, using just the sheet that it comes with, the aerated sheet, it will dry out faster, which is nice when you're short on time. So that is one of the cons of using this. But I find these clean up so easily, and I really like to try and keep my dehydrator clean and also just make it so that it's easier to use. And this, for me, achieves that. So we will scoop out our dough. It smells really good. All right, so I've got all of our dough scooped out. I'm gonna grab a measuring cup to help us form the patties in a more uniform fashion. So I've got a 1/3 cup scoop here. I'm just gonna form them with my hands. Rather crudely at first, and then I can go back and reshape them a little bit. So in terms of the doshas, we've got celery pulp, which is going to be balancing for Pitta and Kapha, less so for Vata. Vatas, see how you do with the celery pulp. See how you do with celery in general. It might be fine for you. We've got the sunflower seed cheese, which is particularly pacifying in as far as cultured cheese goes for Pitta and Kapha. Kapha, though, especially needs to watch the consumption of fat, so be mindful of that. And why does Kapha need to be mindful of the consumption of fat? Well, Kapha tends to have slower digestion, so eating a lot of fat will just serve to slow down digestion further, which can be problematic and uncomfortable, to say the least. The sunflower seed cheese will also be soothing to Vata, who tends to tolerate the more grounding, nourishing, healthy fats that are nice and oily, moist, rich. And then our other ingredient, the dark greens are pretty much good for everybody. Really, everyone can use more dark greens. And especially when they're blended up and paired with healthy fats in the sunflower seeds, are going to be much more digestible than if you had just a big bowl of the power greens by themselves. which takes quite a lot of digestive effort to break down. Even though I use the power greens, which are baby kale, baby chard, baby spinach, the baby greens are also going to be easier to digest than if you were doing big leaves of kale and the bigger leaves of spinach and chard. So it looks like we're going to be perfect here with 6 patties, which is very, very nice. So that means 1 cup of sunflower seed cheese is spread throughout all 6 of these. So thinking about that, if you eat 3, you're eating half a cup of sunflower seed cheese, which is, might be okay for you, but also might be a bit much. So maybe eating just 1 or 2 patties might be more appropriate. Again, thinking about your dosha, thinking about your needs. And later on, after these dehydrate, we will serve them up with a bunch of veggies, which I recommend doing anytime you're having any kind of dehydrated component. It's always nice to serve alongside a bunch of veggies to help rehydrate you and make sure you're still eating a lot of fresh stuff too. Because it's easy to get on track with the raw food, high fat, gourmet, dehydrated, delicious kind of track, and lose sight of just the plain water rich fruits and veggies, which are really the cornerstone of healthy nutrition. So depending on timing and how long you're going to have to dehydrate things, your patties, like thicker patties, are going to take longer to dry out, obviously, than a thinner patty. But we want to get a happy medium going, right? We want something that's going to be a little bit crispy on the outside, a little bit juicy still on the inside. And I know that I have about 5 hours, maybe a little less, until I will eat dinner, until I will be plating these up with you. So I'm trying to keep them, that's a 1/2 inch thick, thereabouts. And we will see. I will flip these halfway through and to make sure they dehydrate evenly. So I'm going to put these in the dehydrator at 115. They will be in there by themselves, and I'm hoping that in 5 hours they will be just how I want them. Hey friends, it's been 5 hours and I just pulled our burgers out of the dehydrator and they look awesome. They actually, Sandy's scratching. The burgers actually look like burgers. They're not green on the outside. They're nice and brown on the outside. They smell really good. They've got a nice crisp texture. I think they'll be perfect. And what I have here are some different things we're going to serve them with. For the bun, I've just got 2 leaves of butter leaf lettuce stacked on top of each other. We'll just go ahead and drop a burger down on each of our leaves. And this will help keep the recipe nice and water rich, even though we have our dehydrated component. And then I have these gorgeous heirloom tomato slices, which I'll go ahead and place. Maybe I'll do that first. I'll do tomato and then burger. It's all very strategic, friends. Big tomato, smaller burger. Then I have some cucumbers that I cut up. I also made some quick pickles, which I'll show you how to make in another video. These are completely raw, not cooked, raw vinegar and everything. And those would be a fun flavor component. I might place some of those on the side. I'm not gonna put them on the burgers, so I wanna be able to taste the burger just as it is without this overpowering flavor. I have some slices of avocado as well, which will add some more fat to our sunflower seeds. Cappadocia, you know, be careful. Everyone be mindful of their fat. You don't have to add avocado. I'm just adding it because I like it, and I'm going to enjoy one of these tonight myself. I'm just putting a few slices on there, make it look nice and pretty, and then put some sprouts on the side. I have some mixed radish and clover sprouts. And you could be creative here. You could serve these with a side salad. You could serve them with, there are many different dehydrate or fry recipes made without potatoes, which are very fun and delicious. Maybe in the future I will explore some of those. I know Chris Kendall makes some, and I'd like to try his recipe, so maybe that'll be a future video. And I'll put some tomato on the side as well. These are just so beautiful, y'all. And delicious, of course. We'll put some of our quick pickles, some of our fresh cucumber pieces. You could also make like a ketchup and mustard. It depends how like burgery you want to make this too. I'm happy keeping it just simple. As y'all know, I'm like simple, simple, simple. Simple is the name of the health game, friends. The longer you do this, the more you really do enjoy the simple flavors. I know I've said that many times. That is because it is, in fact, true. So, I will just top this one off with a piece of lettuce, going the correct direction. And I mean, look how cute this is. Isn't that pretty? I'll take some nice pictures so y'all can see. But I thought I'd make two so that I can eat one, do a taste test, and have one that's nice for pictures. All right, here it goes. There's so much lettuce. It's a big bite. Mmm. Mmm. Y'all, that's really good. It's like a cheeseburger because the sunflower seed cheese is quite cheddar tasting. I'll probably have it all over my face. It has a nice cheddar flavor. So using that in the burger, it makes it like this cheeseburger all-in-one experience without having to add any kind of additional cheesy drizzle or any cheese sauce. Now with some pickles on it, I bet that's like really nice and would give that sour balancing twang. You could serve these with sauces, but like I said, tonight we're just keeping it simple. Please try this recipe. Leave a comment if you do. Very simple, very easy. Like I said, I dehydrated them for 5 hours. They are soft. I mean, they kind of, you know, spread out when you bite into them. So you could go longer if you want them to not be quite as soft, but they are, you know, very much edible and ready to go at this point. So yeah, enjoy. Like this video if you like, subscribe for more. I'm coming out with new videos every day, so stay tuned. Lots of exciting things to come. And you can check out the blog post in the description. I will include a link there that takes you to the recipe. You can also check out my books for other similar raw food Ayurveda recipes. Thanks so much for watching. Much love. Namaste.